Hello all. Hope everyone is safe and well during these difficult times. My name is Richard Bloom. I'm with Mazars USA. I'm the practice leader for the Trusted Estates Group. With us today, we have Melissa Gonzalez, who is a senior manager of the Trusted Estates Group and helps run the Long Island practice of the T&E Group. Today, we'll be discussing some of the basic estate planning documents, as well as why now might be an opportune time to do your estate planning or revisit your estate planning in the past. So, Melissa, can you give us just an overview as to why a will is important and the purpose of a will?
Sure, but before I do that, how's the puppy training going?
Oh, it's still going. The puppy has a mind of its own.
Oh yeah, all right.
I'm
Well,
not sure when the training will be over, but she is training us very well.
well, it's a good time when we're all stuck at home, right? Well, what a will does is it assures the proper distribution of your assets upon your death. So, for instance, a will can direct if your assets are distributed equally amongst your children or unequally, depending on how they behave during quarantine. A will can assure that a previous spouse does not receive your any assets if you don't want them to. You can name other beneficiaries in a will, like charities or a dog, if you have a, if you so choose. If you have minor children, you can also name who the guardians you want to be in your will.
So it sounds like it covers a lot. Does it cover assets like IRAs or life insurance policies?
No, IRAs generally have beneficiary designations, so whoever is named as a beneficiary receives those assets. If a beneficiary is not named, the estate will receive the assets and they will pass according to the terms of the will. So if you get divorced after quarantine or remarried or have children, you want to make sure that you are the correct person is receiving those assets.
So it sounds like you might be changing your documents after quarantine.
You never know. We'll see. We have our good days and our bad days, but yeah, so far so good.
So it seems like beneficiary designations should be revisited every once in a while, in addition to the other documents.
Absolutely. I know my sister, I think, was married 3 years before she realized that my parents were still her beneficiaries, not her husband. So it's an important thing to remember to do.
But what about some of the other documents, like living wills, healthcare proxies, powers of attorneys, letters of instructions?
Yeah. Well, a power of attorney is a document that names another person as your attorney in fact. So this person has the power to handle your financial affairs, especially if you become disabled. So obviously it's someone that you trust dearly. A living will contains your instructions regarding what type of medical treatment you want to receive in certain situations, such as if you're terminally ill. Healthcare proxy names the person that you want to act on your behalf and direct medical providers with respect to your medical wishes. So again, someone that you trust, either to pull the plug or to not in certain cases. A letter of instruction is often overlooked, but its general purpose is to provide your heirs with a list of items or your general wishes that are not covered in other documents. For example, my mother has a lot of jewelry and she's got 3 daughters, and my sisters and I aren't going to fight over the money, but the jewelry that has the sentimental value, I can't promise anything. So I've asked her to specifically say who should receive each piece. I had a client recently, I went to their house, older client, and she had put stickies behind certain pieces of artwork and underneath certain sculptures of people's names that she wanted this to go to. So I thought that was a great idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And it can also contain like your burial wishes. Do you want to be cremated or do you want to be buried? And also important thing is key contacts. Who's your financial advisor and or your accountant, and, your bank information, things like that, just anything that can make the executor's life easier in dealing with the estate.
Right. I see that overlooked a lot. It seems like a lot of people don't do that last document because it's really not a legal document. It's more of a generic type letter for your beneficiaries.
Right. But it really
what are the situations? I'm sorry?
I'm just saying it's really important thing to think about, though.
Right. So what other situations have you come across and, types of issues, and how do you advise clients?
Well, I think the main issues I see really aren't tax related. They're more the soft issues. For example, who's going to be the executor of your estate? If you're the second to die, and your spouse isn't available to be the executor. Who is going to, really important conversation, be the guardian of your children if you have minor children. These are all really tough conversations to have, but they're extremely, extremely important.
Great. So now that we've gone over some of the basic documents and the reasons for them, why do you think now might be a good time to do your estate planning or revisit what was done in the past?
Yeah, well, as we know, the best practice is to continuously revisit our estate plan every few years. But right now, there's a few economic reasons to revisit. For example, one of them being the extremely large lifetime exclusion, which is now, I think, 11,580,000 per person.
Right.
So this is scheduled to decrease significantly in 2026 and could happen before, depending on the legislative environment. So it's something that our wealthier clients really want to utilize when they can. And secondly, the interest rates are extremely low. So now is the time to think about doing certain planning that you can really utilize the low interest rates, like GRATs and sales to defective grantor trusts and other things that we all talk about.
Great, thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this little session, and hope you listen to some of our other sessions where we're going to talk about some of the techniques that Melissa just mentioned, the GRATs, the sales to defective trusts, which is another one that Melissa did not mention.
Interfamily loans is another one. That's a good one.
Interfamily loans, right?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all, and stay safe.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Rich. Good luck with the puppy.
Thank you.